So when working with programming languages, the one scenario you would find yourself face often is to run some block of code based on the conditions. So the way that you can do in programming languages, for instance in PHP, you can use if-else conditions, or the other option that you have is to use switch statements. So let me show you this with an example. So here is one example, and as you can see, we have a variable called thing and we have assigned a value called apple, that is a string, and we are checking the conditions over here. So the first condition, it will check whether the thing is apple and it will print thing is apple based on that. Then we have else if it is cake, this will print thing is cake. And the third one is when we don't have apple or cake, it will print thing is pizza. So that's how if else condition will work. So that is one option that we can use to print or execute block of code based on the conditions. The other options that we have is the switch statement. So the previous example can be rewritten using switch statement like this. So we will have a switch statement where it accepts an expression and it will evaluate or compare the value of expression with the case that we have defined over here. So we have case apple, then we have case cake, and then we have a default case. And the switch statement will basically evaluate it will check whether the value of expression is matching with any of the case, and it will run that particular case based on the comparison. And as you can see, we are using a break statement over here. So what this will do is when a case is matched, it will break out of the switch statement so that it will not go to the next case accidentally. So that's why we need to explicitly use the break statement in the switch statements. So that is one thing that is one option using which you can do this comparison based execution. But recently, with the introduction of PHP 8, we now have a third option called match expressions, and using which you can do the exactly same thing. And let me show you how. So this is the match expression. Like the switch statement, we have a match expression where you can pass the expression and it will evaluate the statement or a block of code based on the comparison with the cases. Okay, so we can actually pass in the format is like this. So this is a key and this is a statement that will be executed or returned when there is a match. So for instance, we have cake. So when we run this, it will match with cake and it will return. So we have an implicit return over here in the match case and match expression. So when the case is matched, this particular expression will be returned, and that's why we are using echo outside of the match expression. So that is one difference between match expression and switch statement, that you cannot actually echo out or just run something inside match expressions, or everything will be returned out of the match expression. So that's one thing. So let me just run this piece of code. So first I will just comment this out, and now I will run it. So I will first clear this and let me run it. So it has printed thing is cake. That is because we are so the value that is assigned to thing is cake, and it matches this particular statement. Now if if I assign something else, let's say orange, then in that case it will print thing is pizza, because it will go into this default match over here. Now there are a few differences when using switch statements and match expression. So as you can see, we need to explicitly provide break statement in the switch statement, but we don't have to do this in match expression because everything is implicitly returned, as I said earlier, in match expression. So you don't need to use match or break a statement explicitly. So that is one advantage of using match expression. The second advantage of using match expression is match expression compares these or do these comparisons strictly, whereas in switch statements these comparisons are not strict, so you might get some weird results because these comparisons are not strict. The third and most important advantage of using match expression is you can use multiple checks or multiple options over here. So let's say if I want to use cake, let's say I'll use cake, and we can use comma separated options. So I'll just remove this from over here. So you can so now this particular statement will be checked against these two options. So even if we have used cake, this will print out thing is apple. So let me first comment this once again, and let me run it. So thing is apple, that's because it matches for cake as well. So that is one advantage of using a match expression, that you can use multiple you can compare multiple values at once in a single statement. So those are all advantages of using match expression, but that is one drawback of using match expression as well, and that is you can only use a single line statements in match expression. So if you want to use multiple if you want to execute multiple line of code in match expression, that is not available right now. Maybe in the future versions of PHP there it would be there, but for now we don't have such kind of option. If you want to do this kind of things, you will need to fall back to switch statements. And that's it. I hope you have learned something out of this particular video, and if you do, consider subscribing to my channel and like this video if you want to keep up to date with things like this in the future, when I will be publishing a few more videos about PHP 8. So yeah, please consider subscribing, and until then I will see you in the next one. See you.